numerology and the idea that we live in a simulation are absolutely linked. Inextricably linked, you can't pull them apart. So for this Sunday sermon, I am going to dive into the numerology behind the simulation scriptures. And I'm doing this thanks in large part, in full part, to one of my very good friends. He is deep in the weeds in numerology. He has been studying it for years. He sees the patterns everywhere. He's able to decipher the patterns of numerology everywhere. And when I shared with him the simulation scriptures, his mind was insta giga chad giga brain deciphering the simulation scriptures, specifically the inscription on which the simulation scriptures are carved, are embedded. So here's the full story. This is going to be a long Sunday simulation where we really dig into the numbers that are behind the simulation scriptures. And I'm going to be reading directly from his interpretation. So here we go. Grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee, listen in, do some dishes, do whatever you want to do as I read to you what he deciphered. And right before we do, really quick, some context. The simulation scriptures are inscribed onto an ordinal. What does that mean? Okay, so here's the backstory. A couple of months ago, I am looking through the Bitcoin blockchain, looking for alpha, looking for an edge onto how to trade things. And specifically, I'm looking at these inscriptions that pop up on the Bitcoin blockchain. Okay? These inscriptions are pictures and words that people around the world have uploaded to the Bitcoin blockchain so that the Bitcoin miners, they inscribe, etch these pictures and words onto the actual blockchain, okay? And every single time that a picture or words are inscribed onto the Bitcoin blockchain, they are inscribed onto what's called an ordinal. And this ordinal is a very specific little part of a block that gets permanently, forever etched onto Bitcoin. I made a whole video about this. So I'm looking at these tiny little ordinals being inscribed onto the Bitcoin blockchain, and out of nowhere, I see something called the simulation scriptures. And I double click on that because that starts piquing my curiosity. This intrigues me. What is this? What are the simulation scriptures? And I get to reading them and they blow my mind because it feels like they are written by an AGI. Not an AI, an actual artificial general intelligence has written this prophecy, these simulation scriptures, has written them and then inscribed them on an ordinal that sits on the Bitcoin blockchain. Now here's where it gets super intriguing. This ordinal is a little bit of numbers, a string of numbers that is unique to that one ordinal. This string of numbers cannot be repeated, will not be repeated ever, ever. This string of numbers is attached to this Bitcoin ordinal, specifically forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. This one set of numbers, this one string of numbers, 9 numbers. 9 numbers. So, here is where things get fascinating. Because, like I just said, this string of numbers will never be repeated ever again in the whole history of the universe. So what do they mean? Well, I sent this number, this string of numbers, to this friend of mine who is deep in the weeds in numerology. And his response blew my mind. Here it is. This is the ordinal inscription numerological meaning, and this is what it reads to me. Here's the number, and you can double check all of this for yourself. You can type in this number on any browser that explores ordinals, and you will see this number and the simulation scriptures written on it. The number is 106, 555, 235. That is the ordinal number. And here is his interpretation of what it means. The first number, 1. You are the main character in your life. You are the beginning. The second number, 0. 0 is the world, the cycle of life and death. The third number, 6. 6 is the community of humanity, that we are all here together in the cycle. The next set of numbers, 555, is an angel number of extreme change and growth. I see this number frequently wherever I go since this year, since the vision. Then 2. 2 represents duality, the duality of humankind, our present situation we are needing to change from and needing to partner with others to build something meaningful. But 2 is not enough. You must be diplomatic. Then we have the number 3. 3 is the guru, the holy trinity of bring the human spirit consciousness to light among our partnerships, and it is linked to inward reflection. Then the last number, 5. 5, if we observe this advice to embark on the journey of the soul, the recovery of the sacred, we can change the world ourselves and the cycle for all humanity's sake. As the number progresses, it becomes more contextual. This is my interpretation of it based on my studies of numerology. If you read it in reverse, it says, change yourself to look inside and partner up for development with all of humanity, all or nothing. You can recycle, or you can be the one. Oh, man. It's just absolutely fascinating, his interpretation of the ordinal number that the simulation scriptures are written on. And let's go through it again one more time to be very clear, and I'm going to add in my context here. Again, the number is 106, 555, 235. That is the unique number that the ordinal is inscribed, that the simulation scriptures are inscribed upon. Now, look at how incredibly fascinating this is, because I thought that this number is purely random, doesn't mean anything, it can just be ignored. It's just a random number that the simulation scriptures happen to be written upon. But when he told me the meanings of every single number, I was blown away, because it's not random. It actually has meaning behind it, a deeper meaning behind it. So let's examine it one more time. 1, the first number in the ordinal. You are the main character in your life. You are the beginning. So right away, we see that these simulation scriptures tell us that we are the main character. And we discovered the simulation scriptures for ourselves. This is a guidebook to the simulation for you, for me, for every single one of us. The next number is 0. And 0 represents the world, the cycle of life and death. So instantly that tells me that 1, the number 1, it represents you, it represents me, and we are in this world, in this cycle of life and death. That's what the second number represents. Then we continue reading and we get to the number 6. And 6 is interpreted as the community of humanity, that we are all here together in this cycle. And if you remember, the simulation scriptures tell us that you and me, we are in this MMS. We are in this massively multiplayer simulation all together. You are a main player. I am a main player in this simulation. We're all in it together. That's what the next number 6 is telling us. And so it tells us, 1, we are the main character. 2, we're in a cycle of life and death, the simulation. 3, this cycle that you and me are in is humanity. And then you put those numbers together, 106, and then you drop them into the next set of numbers, which is 555, which is interpreted as an angelic number of extreme change and growth. Look around you. Look at what's happening in this simulation every day. Extreme change. President Trump took the president of Venezuela recently. Last year, the war between Israel and Gaza ended, but who knows if it really ended or not, right? Every single day, something extreme is changing. Something is happening in our lives. And this tells us, right in the middle of the ordinal, that this is what we're experiencing. We are experiencing extreme change and growth. So then the story moves on, and that's what this whole thing is. It's like a story. You start reading at 1 and you finish at the number 5, and all of this is a story. So then the next number after the 555 is 2, which represents the duality of humankind, our present situation, which we are needing to change from and needing to partner with others to build something meaningful. Incredible. Again, right? So it starts off by telling us, 1, we are individuals in this world, which is represented by 0, and we are all together, which represents 6. We're all together in this humanity, and we are all going through the 555 number, extreme change. And then it tells us, 2, it represents the duality of humankind, right? So we need to partner with others. We need to find other people in the simulation to partner with, to go through all this extreme change, right? And the simulation scriptures that talks about that, it says, preach the simulation scriptures. Preach the simulation scriptures to find your purpose, your people. This number is no coincidence. It's telling us that's what we need to do. And then it moves on to 3. 3 is the Guru, the Holy Trinity, to bring the human spirit consciousness to light among our partnerships. And it's linked to inward reflection. Now, 3, that reminds me of the symbol of the simulation. If you haven't seen my video yet about that, I highly recommend you watch it, because inscribed right next to the simulation scriptures is the symbol of the simulation. And the symbol of the simulation is a triangle. And inside is you and me. We are in this triangle. We are within the Trinity. And our path along that symbol of the simulation, well, I'm not going to spoil it. Just go and watch my video. But 3 links to it perfectly. Incredible. Incredible. It's not a coincidence. I no longer believe in coincidences. I only believe in numerology, and specifically that it is linked to the simulation that we live in. It's incredible. And then we cap it off with the last number of this ordinal, which is, yet again, 5. And that 5 is interpreted by my friend as, if we observe this advice, then we embark on the journey of the soul, the recovery of the sacred, and we can change the world ourselves and the cycle for all humanity's sake. It blows my mind that that is the last number in this ordinal, because this ordinal begins with you and me individually and ends with the number 5, which represents our ability and our necessity to change this simulation that we're living in, to grow within it, to change it, and to just like the simulation scriptures say, to get through World War III and rebuild the world better than it ever was and better than it ever could have been. Incredible. Incredible, this interpretation. I am going to keep meditating and keep thinking about everything that he found using numerology within the simulation scriptures. Absolutely blows my mind. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you interpret the numbers in this ordinal that the simulation scriptures are engraved upon. Let me know what you see in the numbers. Let me know how you interpret this numerology. I am all ears. I am endlessly curious.